and Ho Chin, Honorable Ministers, Chief Minister of Johor, High Commissioners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great pleasure to join you this evening for the official launch of Agro Bazaar Malaysia in Singapore. A special appreciation and a big thank you to Prime Minister Hsien Loong and Ho Chin for gracing this occasion. The bazaar aims to bring the best of Malaysian produce to some of the most discerning consumers in Asia, given the superb quality of our fresh fruits and the high caliber of Singapore's eateries. I'm sure it will be a lasting success. For outsiders, our fruits are some of Southeast Asia's most iconic attractions. Yes, we have historic cities. Yes, we have idyllic beaches, and of course the famous Twin Towers. But our rambutan and mangosteen, and above all, durian, really pull in the crowds. There is something about durian in particular which captivates visitors to Southeast Asia. Mostly they laugh at the no durian stickers in our hotels and recoil from the roadside stalls selling D24. But some form a lifelong love affair with the king of fruits, which must be difficult if you live in New Zealand or Alaska. As a proud Malaysian, I always do my part to ensure such visitors get their fix, including serving world leaders. Although I must confess, there have been some pushbacks. On one occasion, when I served durians to a Caucasian, his immediate reaction was, "Please have mercy on me." I still recall when I was a student, I visited a natural history museum in the United Kingdom. And there was an effigy of an orangutan with a caption at the bottom which read, "This animal eats all sorts of fruits, including the evil-smelling durian." Ladies and gentlemen, in seriousness, we should be proud of our most distinctive exports. From the beautiful star fruit to the pomelos of Perak, our fruits hint at Malaysia itself, lush and tropical, flavorsome and diverse. And so they are a perfect vehicle to introduce people to our cuisine, our culture, and our customs. This Agro Bazaar will help us to do just that. I can think of few better places than Singapore, which attracts so many international visitors and which we share a common culinary heritage with. Particularly as I'm aware that Prime Minister Hsien Loong and most of his ministers, I believe, are durian aficionados or durian lovers. Singaporeans and Malaysians, we may differ in terminology, but we taste with one tongue. That explains why a fifth of our agro-food products, worth more than $1 billion US, are exported to Singapore annually. And with the kind of cooperation we see here at the Agro Bazaar, I'm sure those numbers will continue to rise. The global food industry has undergone huge change as air travel and internet bring once remote food cultures closer together. Today, you can buy keropok in Buenos Aires and durian on eBay. To ensure traditional production methods survive, our farmers and food producers, many of whom are small or medium-sized enterprises, must be able to plug into multinational supply chains. From this perspective, Agro Bazaar, a permanent platform for Malaysian produce in another country, will help, providing a platform to bring more produce direct from farms, a space in which to promote Malaysian products and a jumping off point for Malaysian producers to access new international markets. It would allow Malaysia's premium food items, not just fruit, but halal foods and regional specialities, a place to shine. It is also a testament to the strong and enduring relationship between Malaysia and Singapore. This project would not have succeeded without continuous support from the government and businesses of Singapore. Now we hope that the people of Singapore, adventurous and hungry for new food and travel experiences, also will get behind the Agro Bazaar concept, and that the success founded here will be repeated in other projects around the world. I'd like to thank everyone who have worked hard to ensure the success of this project, and in particular, Minister Datuk Ismail Sabri, Ministry of Agriculture, Pharma, and all others. We have worked together, I believe, to scout almost the whole of Singapore to find this place. And I believe this is probably the right choice, because as Ho Chin told me, this is a part of the old Singapore, if you like. And if you are tired after eating durian, you can have a foot massage here. So, with that, let me hand over to my friend and colleague, Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. Thank you very much.
Our most gratitude to Dr. Sri for the speech. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Prime Minister of Singapore, His Excellency Lee Hsien Loong.
Prime Minister Najib Razak, Datin Paduka Sri Rosmah Mansor, Honorable Ministers and Menteri Besars, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. May I welcome all the Malaysian visitors here to Singapore for the launch of the Agro Bazaar. I'm very happy that you have chosen very happy that you have chosen Singapore to launch the first overseas branch of this unique Malaysian initiative. May I first take a moment to acknowledge Malaysia's day of national mourning last week for the passengers and crews of MH17. Our deepest condolences go to the families and the loved ones of the victims, and Singaporeans stand with the people of Malaysia in your moment of sorrow. I'd also like to thank Prime Minister Najib for inviting me to join today's opening ceremony of the Agro Bazaar. We had a retreat in Putrajaya in April, and Prime Minister Najib told me he intended to establish the Agro Bazaar's first overseas branch in Singapore. And I immediately welcomed this unique project because it usually benefits our people. For Malaysia, it's a marketplace for Malaysian producers to introduce their fruit and products to an overseas market. And for Singaporeans, we now have a huger variety of delicious Malaysian fruit available in one convenient central location. We have rambutan, we have cempedak, we have nangka, you can see some of it in front of you, and of course we have the famous Musang King durian. I think there are a few in front of me down here. And there are also new varieties of fruit that are native to specific states in Malaysia, like the duku from Terengganu, the cempedak durian from Perak. I'm not sure what that is. I think it's a durian, not a cempedak. And the king guava from Batu Pahat, which will now be readily available in Singapore. So, while food is very important to both Malaysians and Singaporeans, I think the Agro Bazaar is about something more than food. It reflects our close economic ties, our shared cultures, and our long friendship. And it shows that if we work together, there's much benefit to both parties. So we look forward to further deepening interactions between our people in the coming years. For example, we are building the rapid transit system link between JB and Singapore, and also the high-speed rail between Kuala Lumpur and Singapore. And these projects, when completed, will improve the flow of goods and of people across borders and draw us closer together. They will create opportunities for our peoples to mingle and to understand each other's cultures and heritages better. With such close interactions between our two countries, we must expect issues to arise from time to time, but I believe we keep lines of communication open, not just between the leaders, but also between the ministers and the senior officials and their counterparts. Then we can manage anything which comes along. And this is the way to maintain and enhance mutual understanding, trust and respect, and continue to make progress on existing as well as new areas of cooperation. We can imagine the friendship between Singapore and Malaysia to be like a flowering fruit tree. We have to continue to nurture it, to tend it, and if we do so, along the way, success will blossom and blossom again. And sometimes we will be able to enjoy low-hanging fruit, or even wait for the durians to fall. But sometimes we'll have to work harder to climb the tree and pluck the coconuts from the top. So this Agro Bazaar is one example of what we can harvest as we move our ties ahead. I wish it every success, and I hope everyone will enjoy a pleasant evening over good fruits and good company, and come back and visit it many, many more times in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister Lee, for the intriguing speech.